Alright guys, so about a week ago, one of my commenters was saying how I should really think about finishing the Attack on Titan manga since Reiner's character is recently getting very developed, and I was saying how he was my favorite character in the video he commented on, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And I started like 5 or 6 days ago and I finished yesterday, and it was just one of the most insane experiences of my entire life. I do not know how this story is able to do it because it started off so well, but with the exception of the Civil War arc, every single arc got like 3 times as good as the one before. And it was just unbelievable the shit was happening. I cannot believe how well this story was told, how much was thought out beforehand. It was just amazing. So today I'm going to be talking about the man who is still my favorite character. He has been since episode 31 of the anime came out when he goes traitor. I'm talking, of course, about Reiner. I knew based on the things that he said when he was on the wall when he decided to go traitor, as well as when the 4 shifters were sitting in the trees talking, that he was going to have some kind of backstory that very much would explain why he is doing all the things he's doing despite seeming to be such a good guy even after he went traitor. And boy, not just does it make perfect sense why he would do this, but I actually feel bad for the guy. Like, out of the 4 people that were sent on this mission, he just... oh, he was in the worst position of them all. I could not help but feel bad for him throughout his entire backstory as a kid, and he just turned out to be the greatest guy ever after it. Before episode 31, we always saw him as this pretty cool guy, like he was one of the stronger people in the 104th. He was always well respected by his peers and was considered very reliable. Eren even called him a big brother figure. Ymir also described him as exceedingly honest. He was all around just like a really cool guy. If it wasn't for the fact that he ended up having to betray all of his friends, they would have continued to see him as a great person. And he clearly was not faking any of this, not just because Bertolt made the claim that they weren't faking, they actually considered all those people to be their comrades, but just based on his backstory when he's a kid, he has always been like this. Nothing's changed. He's always wanted to help people. He cares for his parents so much. The only thing that really stopped him from fulfilling his mission is the fact that he is so caring. He realized that these people are humans just like him. They're actually both of the Eldian race, and he just couldn't really complete his mission. He just wanted to stay there and act like a soldier forever. To be completely honest, I still don't even really understand the mental breakdown that he had on top of the wall, why he decided that just out of nowhere it was time to go traitor. I understand that he was upset because he got bit by a Titan when he was saving Coney. I'm not sure why that really made him so upset. He was saying that, like, he's a half-assed piece of shit now and that a soldier's body always breaks down, but, like, I don't know, like, it didn't really make too much sense to me. I think just the fact that he could die at any time, and thinking about how he needed to complete his mission, how he needed to make it back to Marley to help his parents, I think it just got to him and he just fucking lost it all at once. There is also the fact that they were on top of the wall, which is pretty much as close as they can get to Marley, while Eren was standing right there, which was pretty much their entire objective, so he was able to quickly turn into a Titan, grab Eren, and jump off the wall. Of course, it's not that simple, since Eren obviously just turned into a Titan and pretty much fucked Reiner up. If it wasn't for Bertolt just falling on top of them, then he would have probably been captured, actually. But after all the shit goes down, he tries going back to Marley pretty much empty-handed, and I guess he's probably intercepted by Zeke. That's how I imagine it happened, along with Bertolt. And Zeke was just like, okay, yeah, they're going to be coming here since this is where you guys said their destination is. They're going for the basement. So we're just going to wait for them to get here, and then we're going to fuck them up. Now, what's so interesting to me here is that Reiner completely, like, was able to just forget about being friends with all of them. He was fucking ready to go. He hid inside the wall, and he was ready to just take Eren out, kill anyone who got in his way immediately. He was ready to wipe out humanity like he originally was. When it comes down to it, this kid is just constantly thinking about his parents, how much he wants to save the people he cares about. It really is amazing. Even more so when the battle actually begins and he gets to fight Eren and all of the Survey Corps attacking him, with Mikasa being one of them and Hanji, and they have these ridiculous weapons that can just easily penetrate his armor. He still goes all out. He did a pretty good job. I mean, he was able to do some damage. He just kind of got surrounded and they were using ridiculous weaponry. There was never a point where he slipped up because he just couldn't handle hurting his friends or anything like that. He went in there with absolute conviction. It didn't even cross his mind. Bertolt, on the other hand, was pretty alright. He was pretty ready to beat them, especially after Armin gave his little... I don't even know what you call that. He just pretty much psychologically destroyed Bertolt when he distracted him so that Erwin could cut Eren away from Bertolt, and Eren managed to escape. But overall, I just did not see the same kind of conviction that Reiner went in there with. He was not even thinking about going soft on them. Then, after the Survey Corps have a massive success, Reiner is just left there with no arms, no legs. He is just absolutely done for, and he doesn't give a shit, okay? Hanji starts just torturing pretty much. I think she was like ripping his teeth out, just sticking blades into him, and he just wasn't gonna say anything. He was smiling at her, okay? He was smiling at her because he's such a badass. He got pretty fucking lucky that Zeke ended up coming in there riding Cartman and they were able to get out, but I mean, I really don't think he would have ever given up any information if he actually had been captured. He probably just would have let them take the Armored Titan from him, which would be so awesome, by the way. I'd be so sad that Reiner's dead. I'd probably cry. It'd be so depressing. But to see someone else using the Armored Titan would be really cool as well. But so then the arc is pretty much over. The Survey Corps go to the basement and they find the books. We, a few chapters later find out what's actually in them. We don't really see anything from the Marley people, specifically Reiner, so I'm not going to talk about that right now. So what does happen after all that's wrapped up is we finally get to the Marley arc, which I know a lot of people actually have not really enjoyed until this most recent chapter, because people have finally realized that it was all just a huge build-up. I know that we didn't get to see any of the main characters really. It was kind of weird. It was like almost an entire year of just not seeing any of the main cast, even immediately after a time skip. But it definitely was for the build-up, and I really enjoyed most of the characters in this arc so far, so I didn't have too much of a problem with it. But one of the first people we see after the time skip, of course, is my boy Reiner. We get to see him with a little bit of a goatee. I guess that's what he was working on over the time skip. He doesn't really seem to be able to do anything different with his Titan form, as we've seen, even though he is clearly even more resolved than he was beforehand. And then we get to see all about his backstory, which was just so depressing and really enriched his character, in my opinion. I just thought that it was so sad how he just wanted to help his parents no matter what he could do. He didn't really care how he had to do it. He knew he was like the worst in his class, yet he still tried harder than any of them easily. Then, after he miraculously gets chosen to be the Armored Titan, Marcel tells him that the only reason he was chosen is because he asked the people to not choose his brother. So there's that. That made Reiner pretty upset, obviously. He probably felt pretty defeated, pretty worthless at that point. And then almost immediately after that, Marcel is eaten by Ymir. So that was pretty much one of the lowest points of Reiner's life. He clearly wasn't on very good terms with Annie or Bertolt at this point anyway, since Annie was kicking the shit out of him, and I just don't think he was really particularly friends with Bertolt. Like, they knew each other, they were acquaintances, but they weren't like really good friends as we saw earlier in the series. I don't even remember when we got to see the one part where they end up killing Marco when Reiner, like, forces Annie to. He's like, yeah, you're not even a real warrior if you can't do this. Like, what the fuck was that all about? And then after they're watching him get eaten, Annie's, like, crying. Bertolt's like, God, this is rough. And Reiner's fucking crying. Like, he completely forgot about everything that had happened, like, 30 seconds ago. It was crazy. That might be the most ridiculous mental breakdown he's had so far. So, and that's saying quite a bit. Pretty much to sum things up here, the guy is completely fucked in the head. You never have any idea what he's going to do, what kind of decisions he's going to make, whose side he's going to take. And with this most recent chapter, with how it ended, with what was going on throughout the chapter, it goes to say that the next chapter is going to be absolutely insane. And I mean, I don't even know what Eren's going to do, so to be able to predict what Reiner's going to do, that's just impossible. I mean, there were like multiple different panels where he was on the verge of a mental breakdown. I mean, it was pretty insane. I really kind of wanted to see one, but Eren just kept talking, so he wasn't really given the opportunity. I'm super excited for the next chapter. I can't wait to see how Reiner reacts to all the shit that Eren has planned. I'm sure that all of you also cannot wait for the next chapter. It's going to be excellent. Make sure you subscribe so you can see the video I make after that chapter comes out. I'm sure I'm going to have to make a video on something related to that chapter because it's probably going to be one of the best chapters of all time, considering everything leading up to it and the fact that it is the 100th chapter. So make sure you do subscribe so you'll be notified when that video comes out. So that pretty much wraps up this video. I'm sorry it was kind of like a scatterbrained video. I don't really know. I didn't have any direction with it. I just finished the series and I was so excited to talk about Reiner because he was my favorite character almost as soon as he went Traitor, definitely by the end of the Clash of the Titans arc. And then I just kept reading and he just got better and better. And I had to tell someone in whatever sloppy way I could. So thank you for watching until this far. If you're still here, remember to leave me a comment letting me know what you think about this video, future videos you'd like me to see, different manga, anime you'd like me to read or watch, things you'd like me to talk about. I reply to the vast majority of comments on my channel as long as they are understandable, they're asking some kind of question or just eliciting a response, and they're not just complete trolls, so definitely don't be afraid. So yeah, I'll talk to you guys on Sunday.